And I've never done an interview at all, so this
Let's
is
just
gonna be
have
funny.
a casual conversation.
I forgot your name. Oh my gosh.
I'm Sean.
Sean.
Katie has been awesome. She's been such a fantastic volunteer. Hundreds of the signed letters that will be going to New York to the decision makers are only because of Katie and her efforts and some of her wonderful ideas.
You know, I edit this. I'm going to play this like 7 times.
You just put it on a loop. You know, you want to just take that out and play it in a loop. I have no problem with it.
This is Katie. I'm coming to you from the Star Trek Las Vegas convention, also known as the 57-year mission. Wow, we're up to 57 years. And I have been spending some time with my new friend Sean here, trying to get some signatures for an important cause. And I'm going to let him tell you all about it.
Hello, Sean Preston with Letters for Legacy. Letters for Legacy. It's been a long weekend, folks, so bear with me. And what we're doing is we're a fan-based initiative that's advocating for the production of Terry Matalas' Star Trek Legacy. A lot of fans saw that conclusion of Picard Season 3, and they really expect to see that continuation with Seven of Nine, captaining the Enterprise G. And they had that great mid-credit scene where Q shows back up. And there are so many fans who are anxious and ready to see these adventures. And, well, did you know that they were planning to produce Star Trek Legacy?
Well, the minute after the episode was over, Twitter or X or whatever they want to call themselves now.
The site formerly known as Twitter.
The site formerly known as Twitter just was flooded with Legacy posters with that fan made and just people calling out actors going at the time, yeah, cool, we would love to do this. So, I mean, it wasn't even oh, I wonder if they're going to do this. I thought it had already been decided that whether they liked it or not, they were going to make it.
They really made it feel that way.
Yes.
But unfortunately, you know, Paramount Studios, they have a full production schedule right now. There are things going on, like we now have the cancellation of Discovery. They'll be wrapping that up with the upcoming season. They just pulled Prodigy. I think we're going to be able to continue to see Prodigy on another streamer. So let's keep our fingers crossed and be positive about that. But right now, with some of the announcements they've made in terms of wanting to go in this direction of having some feature films and also doing miniseries instead of replacing Picard, there's no room to create Star Trek Legacy right now. So we're trying to take this opportunity right now during the strike to create a noise, to be loud, like Terry Matalas has asked the fans. And our mission is to send hundreds, if not thousands, of handwritten letters, hand-signed letters to the doorstep of the decision makers in New York, much in the spirit of Save Star Trek from the 60s, which we all know Save Star Trek.
I love the callback of that this is how we started. Let's get it going. It worked before. Why not try it again?
Let's try to repeat history.
Yeah.
Because if Bijo and John Trimble had not done what they did in the 60s, we wouldn't all be here right now. You know, Star Trek would just be a pop culture footnote.
It would, yeah. And we definitely would not be having conventions 50 some years later, nearly 60, celebrating it.
And with all the series that they have produced, the animated series, and you know, this is what we truly want to do is tell Paramount Pictures, give the fans what they want, because it worked so well with Picard Season 3. You saw it with the fan support, with the critical support, cracking that top 10 streaming for the first time, except for, I think, perhaps Yellowstone for Paramount Plus. But in terms of a track streaming show, the first time in the top 10 of those streaming ratings. And just incredible Emmy buzz and award buzz, because all of these actors were treated with such care and respect and were really at the top of their game and you know, delivering us that final goodbye possibly for some of them. But it may not have to be if we get to have Star Trek Legacy as Terry Matalas would have it. We would be moving forward into the 25th century with the new crew. The Enterprise G has been set up. But he would love to have the opportunity to bring back some of those other TNG era characters, the Voyager era characters, DS9 characters. And, you know, with the strike going on, I can't name names, but I've had a chance to ask some of these actors in person, you know, would you be interested in your character coming back? And the response is an overwhelming heck yeah.
Well, I think for the most part, we have a pretty good idea, even without having to name names, the actors who would be excited and thrilled.
And of course, we know before the strike, you know, for instance, Jonathan Frakes, he is a huge supporter, and he sees the outpouring of passion and support from the fans, and he believes, you know, he's an optimist that this is something that's going to make a difference. And you know, there's been a lot of effort out there. The Popcast, I think, were really some of the first that started the initiative on change.org with terrytrack.com. So that's probably the easiest way you can support if you hadn't, is go to terrytrack.com. But in my opinion, you know, we need to get above the digital deluge. I don't think the guys who are writing the checks to produce new shows in New York are going every day and checking change.org and saying, man, as soon as they hit 75,000, you know, it adds to it. But I don't think they can ignore when packets of mail start showing up on their doorstep, because somebody's going to have to open that mail. Someone's going to have to read that mail. Someone's going to have to shred that mail and recycle that mail.
It's the physicality of it.
It's the physicality. It's that analog approach. You know, there's a lot of different ways that I see the connections with Star Trek. That whole idea that at the end, the way that we were saved from the Borg, the Federation was saved from the Borg. Well, how did that happen? We had to go back to where it all began.
Yeah.
We found out what has Geordie LaForge been doing for the last 20 years. And we go to the museum and those doors of Bay 12 open. And, you know, we've all seen the videos online of just the crowds and the passion we felt. And, you know, that analog shift, well, this is an analog real world campaign.
Well, then how do people, where do they send their mail? How do they get into this? How do they be a part of it?
What you want to do is go to, it would be very helpful if we had it here to display, but you want to go to letters-for-legacy.org. That is our website. You can connect with us on Facebook at Facebook.com/group/letters4legacy altogether.
Okay.
And in the near future, we're going to be announcing a Discord, because right now we're just a core group of 6 people. There's me. There's a gentleman who's sort of my first officer, so to speak, named G-Man Smith. And I tell you, a lot of this wouldn't exist if not for him contacting me when we had the Facebook group and saying, listen, we really need to do more. We need to have a website. And I had something very limited, like just a holding page set up with a little bit of information, and it was crap. And so he got a hold of it. He massaged it for a couple days, because that is his background, is doing WordPress sites. So that's the reason that exists. A lot of inspiration comes from the artists that have been inspired about this idea for Star Trek Legacy. For instance, at Will Wong, 1971, he's done a lot of our art. This is something that was volunteered for us by another amateur artist, Ed Bin Kenobi. You can reach him at Twitter.
Okay.
And, you know, there's just so many ways that we can continue in this mission, and we want to be able to connect with more people.
Okay.
And, you know, we need to crack the analytics. We need to be doing videos like this. Except for a couple of quick announcements that I've done on Facebook, this is really the first social media video engagement that we've had. So thank you, Katie, for thinking about us.
Absolutely.
And by the way, Katie has been awesome. She's been such a fantastic volunteer. Hundreds of the signed letters that will be going to New York to the decision makers are only because of Katie and her efforts and some of her wonderful ideas.
You know, I edit this. I'm going to play this like 7 times.
You just put it on a loop. You know, you want to just take that out and play it in a loop. I have no problem with it.
I'm losing my stuff. Pardon me, I'm dropping my things. I think that we have covered pretty much everything.
Great.
If you're seeing this video, please take a moment and go to the link below in the description. It takes just a few minutes, and we might get a really fantastic show out of it. And hopefully run by Matalas. Yes,
yeah,
that is our hope.
You know, before we wrap up, that is the most important thing. We want Star Trek Legacy by Matalas.
Yes.
Because it may happen in 2, 3, 4 years, but not with Matalas. And
that's not going to be nearly as good.
It's not going to be nearly as good.
No, it's not.
So let's get Star Trek Legacy produced by Terry Matalas. Support us at lethersforlegacy.org. Thanks a lot, Katie.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.